Hello, everybody, and welcome to Shifting Tones, the podcast with nerdy tones and shifting formats. Today, I am your host, Steph, and I am joined together with Larissa and Sam.
Hello.
Yes, hello. Yes, we're also here, Steph.
Yeah, well, I just introduced you. Yeah, I just, you're not getting time today. Nope, I decided.
Okay.
Whatever.
Nah. No, but today's been good. I've been also very excited because of the fall shift as of late. It's been feeling a lot more like fall, and the leaves are changing colors, and it's so wonderful.
I know.
So I'm super excited about it.
I'm super excited about fall, too. Like, oh my goodness. We were just talking with a friend this weekend, and she went out to a pumpkin field and got some pumpkins for some pie she's going to make later this week. So that was exciting and fun to talk about.
That sounds so yummy. I had pumpkin cookies handmade for me today at school.
What?
So I was like, yes, I'm so in love. And today was wonderful because I went to Starbucks to get coffee. I was like, you know what? Let's start off the week right with a pumpkin spice latte. The lady in front, she paid it. She paid it for me.
What?
Yes.
Now, Steph, did you pay it forward after that to the person behind you?
Because
what a monster.
Yep, I'm a monster.
No. I think that stuff's nonsense.
My day was made. I was excited. Aww. I was so excited. I just kept going.
That's great.
But yeah, so I've just been kind of up to, I don't know, a lot. Just mostly things are getting down to the wire with my wedding stuff. So it's kind of planning 2 bridal showers, getting invites figured out. It's like a lot of keeping track of things. So
oh, absolutely.
I'm just kind of in my own world at this point.
Well, you should be comforted to know that I have already received my invitation for the bridal shower, so that's you can check that off of your list.
Oh, thank goodness, because that's all I'm worried about this week is invitations and RSVPs.
Mm-hmm, are you going to go to the shower?
Yeah, I am.
Oh.
No, Steph's not going to be there. I'm actually the guest of honor.
That was funny. That was good. I like that. Sam, you've been awfully quiet. What's been going on with you, bud?
Yeah, because I'm still upset that you didn't pay it forward. Man, jeez.
Oh.
I'm kidding.
Man.
No, I got some exciting news. So yesterday, I was listening to the radio on our drive back home, and this radio station I listen to does a lot of giveaways later in the evening compared to like morning radio stations that normally do them at like 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. or whatever. And they're like, hey, text in this keyword to this number and have a chance to win 2 tickets to a concert tomorrow night, or on Tuesday night. And so I texted everybody in the group chat, like in the family group chat, I said, everybody text this number right now, win me these tickets. And so I get a text this morning from my brother with a screenshot saying that he won the tickets.
Wow.
Yeah,
and guess
super
who it's
exciting.
For?
Who?
His
Front
favorite
Bottoms.
band.
Oh, the Front Bottoms? Oh, that's sick.
Yeah. We're going to go tomorrow night. I mean, I wanted to buy tickets to begin with, and I thought about it, and then I was like, I don't know if I'm going to. I've seen them a few times in concert. But hey, free tickets. Yeah, I'm going to go. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. That's 100% worth it. And that's fun that you are like thinking about going, and then we're just like, And now it's like, oh, well, now I'm going.
Yeah, absolutely. Now I just got to win some Hot Mulligan tickets.
There you go.
I saw them in concert, and they were good. But yeah, so let's shift on over to what we're actually going to be talking about today. Now that we're all, warmed up, talked, and, got all the good deets. I hate that word. I don't know why I said that. So today we are going to be talking about our childhood cartoons. Ooh. So things that we grew up watching as a kid. And we're just going to have kind of an open discussion about childhood cartoons, but I kind of figured, I have a small little bit of a structure, not too much, but I kind of figured we just talk about it, see what we liked, and we could kind of start off with what were your favorite childhood cartoons growing up?
Are we doing like top 3 or just some of our favorites? Or what's okay?
Anything that you really liked.
Well, since I'm already here, I might as well tell you mine, I guess. The best childhood cartoons for me were the ones on Saturday morning. Like, I loved all the cartoons I would watch in the evenings and, during the day or if I'm homesick from school or whatever. Mm-hmm. But to me, Saturday morning cartoons were the absolute best. And the ones I really enjoyed were all back-to-back, which was Jackie Chan Adventures, Shaolin Showdown, and Yu-Gi-Oh! I think they all came out around the same time. I think Pokemon was even playing at that time. I think everything was on Saturday morning early. And Static Shock. How could I forget about Static Shock? One of the best cartoons
can't forget that
made.
one.
Yeah.
I never saw that one much.
Static Shock?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's been talks about it recently becoming a live-action movie, so I don't know if that's ever going to happen.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was like one of the coolest superheroes for me as a kid growing up, so I really liked it.
Yeah, Larissa, did you have some? Oh, sorry.
Oh, no, I was going to say, just go back to Static Shock. It was one of those, like, cartoons where, like, for, like, cartoons for, like, especially Saturday morning ones, they're more, like, geared towards children, so there's not, like, any deep messages coming across, but that show actually felt like it was respecting children. I mean, like, hey, here's some actual plot and character development. Enjoy this story. And that was fun with the animation too was really well done for that time period, and especially I'm assuming the budget was small. It's beautiful. It really holds up today because we watched it not too long ago, and it was still good.
Yeah, it's still solid.
Mm-hmm.
I had to look up a photo of it just to even remember and recall.
Right.
I remember seeing this character, but yeah, I never really watched it as a kid.
No, that's fair. Yeah, because I think the problem with, like, cartoons for, like, our generation in particular, because, like, in the 80s and, like, early 90s, there was, like, one channel and one block of cartoons. So, like, the ones you got were all on that one channel. But, like, in the early 2000s, like, you had to choose which ones you wanted to watch. So you're like, oh, my goodness, this one's coming out now. But I'll miss, I don't know, like, Static Shock. Like, you probably missed that. You probably picked something else instead of watching it that hour.
Honestly, that's probably what happened.
Right.
Larissa, what are some of your favorites that you had growing up?
Right. So I do remember watching a lot of Saturday morning cartoons. I think it was, like, for our local area, the WB Kids, like, Saturday morning cartoon block, if I'm remembering it correctly, with, like, 4 kids and everything, which is a totally different discussion, which we don't have to touch today if we don't want to. But no, I ended up watching a lot more of
boring cartoons.
No. I'm trying to remember which network it was on because I think it switched a few times, actually. I really liked watching Totally Spies. That was amazing.
Yes. Oh, my God. Yes.
Yeah, I know. You need to change your life because even as an adult, I watched it with some friends and oh my God, like the humor is peak. The cringe is like the good kind of cringe and the aesthetics, it brings back all the good feels. I mean, it's just a parody for children of Charlie's Angels, but I feel like it almost is even better than Charlie's Angels. I love it. But yeah. And I think right after Totally Spies was another show I really liked to watch was like Witch. It was like WITCH. Like they made a point of like making an anagram. That was really cool because the animation was beautiful, at least for what I remember in my mind, and the aesthetic was very gothic and cool looking, and I was like, oh, I want to be like them. They're so cool.
I literally just looked up a picture of it because I'm like, huh? I don't ever recall seeing this. Like,
never heard of this.
It says it's from 2004 to 2006, so it was very small. Like, probably not, like, what, 2 seasons maybe?
No. And you could tell, like, they kind of, like, destroyed it. Like,
oh, yeah.
They were like, we'll put it out, but then they kept putting it at different weird hours, and I would, like, find a way to watch it if I could.
I see.
Yeah.
It's funny that you say that, like, you know, it only was 2004, 2006 or whatever, because when I started to look back at my favorite childhood cartoons, I was like, oh my God, like, I must have missed some seasons or something, or, like, I watched that for years.
Right.
And I go back and look and it had, like, 2 or 3 seasons.
Well, it's probably, too, that you just watched a lot of, like, repeat episodes, too, you know,
or
reruns and stuff. Yeah.
Which is kind of weird to think about because, like, kids these days don't get that sort of same effect of, like, watching reruns and having the, like, TV choose which reruns you're watching in that particular day.
Yeah, there's a lot more choice now involved.
Yeah.
Well, I never grew up, like, as a Saturday cartoon morning girly. I was kind of a cartoon everyday girly.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, but, like, I never had that experience of, like, it's Saturday, I gotta wake up and get cereal and plop right in. I don't have that. Like, for me, that was just not, like, a big deal. I think it was just because we would watch cartoons anytime, really. My biggest go-to as a kid that I probably watched the most hours of was SpongeBob. That was probably, for sure, just my go-to, like...
Oh my God.
Honestly.
That's
like,
fair. That's fair.
Like, favorite, just because it was so good. There's just so many cartoons that I watch, so it's kind of hard to nail them all down without seeing, like, a specific list. But definitely, like, I would say I watched a lot of Fairly Odd Parents. Now, I wouldn't say that it was, like, my favorite, but I did watch and consume a lot of that. Oh, I would say Scooby-Doo. Scooby-Doo is probably one of my favorites.
Lots of Scooby-Doo.
Yes.
Did you ever watch a pup named Scooby-Doo?
Yes. So I watched all the little, different versions of it.
Spin-offs.
Yeah.
Spin-offs, but the one that I mostly have like the most hours of my life watched is the 1960s one, so the original.
Yeah.
Because
It's so
I
good.
was a Boomerang girly.
That's fun. I remember when we got Boomerang, I specifically remember watching, I don't remember the exact title, but where all the old cartoon people do the race, and I loved Penelope
Wacky
Pitstop.
races.
Yeah!
Yes, because also there's the sideshow too of the perils of Penelope Pitstop. She had her own show.
Whenever I saw that in Boomerang, because a lot of the times I was like, that's old. Like, I'm cooler than that. But when she popped up, I was like, I gotta watch it.
No, it's so good. I loved Boomerang. And I think it's primarily, I watched a lot of Boomerang stuff. So I was watching shows anywhere from the 60s to the 80s, like those type of cartoons. Like I watched a lot primarily because my mom grew up seeing those because she was, born in the 50s. So I watched a lot of old cartoons. Like I watched, the Smurfs, Scooby-Doo from the 60s. I watched
Huckleberry Hound.
Yeah, Huckleberry Hound. I watched Wacky Races, Perils of Penelope Pitstop. Oh God, Hong Kong Phooey.
Yes, which does not hold up.
Listen, at the time, but
no, I know. Theme song was so catchy. Like I would have it stuck in my head.
I
constantly.
still know it to this day. And same thing. The last one I was gonna say was Johnny Quest.
Yes.
Oh, Johnny Quest, yeah. We had Boomerang growing up, like just for a short period of time. My mom was like, you know what? You guys really want to watch some Boomerang? So it was like, I don't know, an extra $2 a month or whatever onto our subscription. And so, yeah, watching all those little cartoons that like my parents would talk about was pretty cool, actually. I never like sat down and watched them, but like every once in a while I'm like, okay, I'll watch X show that was on that I've never seen,
Right.
It was fun. That's like, I watched a lot of those. But I'd say also, like, I watched a lot of Avatar, Last Airbender, when that came out.
So good. And like it got to a point where like they would only have reruns for like the first season for the longest time, and then I was like, okay, I know Avatar, like they're probably not going to finish it, sort of a thing, like they did with all my other favorite cartoon shows. But then I think it was like early high school where they were like, okay guys, we're finishing it. So like when the last season came out, I would like record it on my TV being like, okay, it's coming out today, and I'm so hyped and excited to see how this is going to end finally.
I had the hardest time watching Avatar The Last Airbender. Like, I really liked it and I liked the concept of the show, but I don't think I truly understood the show until I like watched it in order when I was older.
That's very true too, because they would put reruns and like I feel like it was the same like first 2 episodes constantly of like the water book, and I'm just like, ugh, I get it. Like, can we get some more like Earth or anything else that's not like Katara teaching Aang how to water a bend for like the 50th time?
Well, plus like too, the part where like Aang had to disguise himself in the Fire Nation. Like sometimes you just see him like in an episode like, hey, here's him, I don't know, and he's bald and whatever. And then it's like, oh, he has hair in this episode now. And I'm like, what's happening? Like, it was so scattered. So I had to definitely just watch it later in life to truly appreciate and understand the whole story and plot.
Yeah, it's definitely like peak perfection, I think, of our generation of cartoons, like the 2000s. It's just so good. The amount of like respect and detail, amazing.
Back to Scooby-Doo for a second. When you said that, I was like looking up like all the different versions of Scooby-Doo that come out. And, like definitely like the 60s one and the Pup Named Scooby-Doo were probably the ones I watched most beside What's New Scooby-Doo. But apparently there was a series in 2006 called Shaggy and Scooby-Doo Get a Clue. And I'm looking at the art of it, and it's just crazy. I didn't know this show ever existed.
That's hilarious.
And Shaggy looks horrifying.
Oh, no.
If you get a chance to look it up real quick.
I'm looking it up, because now I'm curious. Oh, is that when he's little? Yeah, I've seen that.
Shaggy and Scooby-Doo Get a Clue?
Yeah.
Is he little? He doesn't look little.
Well, he's like smaller, kind of. He's odd looking. It's a different art style. I don't think it lasted all that long.
No,
I don't think so at all.
Because it's like, I feel like I remember seeing that, but I definitely did not see a lot of that.
Apparently, like, Fred, Velma, and, like, Daphne are in it, too. They just also look goofy. It looks like something, like, a fan made for YouTube and then became a show.
I loved the movies, too. I know we're talking about cartoons, but technically, love the movies. But, dude, the OG, like, 1960s Scooby-Doo, just, to me, is still the best.
No, I agree. And talking about Scooby-Doo, how do you feel about Scrappy-Doo? He's very controversial.
Okay, I love Scrappy-Doo, but then I watched the old series, and they didn't make him out to be like a villain, you know, like the like the live-action movie did. I thought that was really funny.
Me too.
That they kind of, put such a twist and turn on his character.
Yeah, no, that was great. Well, apparently it's because everyone who was like an adult, when they watched it when it was like originally aired for those kids, they all hated him. And I never understood that because I always loved Scrappy-Doo.
I liked him.
Yeah. So they're like, the writers were like, we're going to make him the villain because if we have to have Scrappy-Doo in this movie, we're going to make him the bad guy.
Which is weird
crazy.
because they separately, like in the 70s, made a Scrappy and Scooby TV show. And then
I know.
The new Scooby and Scrappy show after that in the 80s. So like enough to where people, I guess, cared about it. But this isn't the Scrappy-Doo episode. This isn't the Scooby-Doo episode. This is the childhood cartoon episode. Steph, let's go. Give me something more. Like I want to talk about
fine.
this.
What are your least favorite childhood cartoons? We talked about our favorite ones. So what were ones that you did not care for when you grew up watching stuff?
The Scooby-Doo and Scrappy. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my god, no.
That's a good question. Probably primarily certain ones that were like, I'm not going to get into like little kids shows because like obviously they're just,
sure.
I didn't watch those, but definitely some cartoon shows that I just kind of like were more like put off by. Ren and Stimpy.
Oh, same here. Yep.
I Am Weasel.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of some of those like other like really gross ones like
Cat Dog.
No, I love
I
Cat
loved
Dog.
Cat
Cat
Dog.
Dog was
Okay.
fantastic.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was the only
Kinda
one of that sort of like style
style.
that I enjoyed. Yeah. Same with Angry Beavers. I did like Angry Beavers. Those are my only two exceptions to that rule.
Okay.
Oh man, I thought there was another one that like I would just like look at it and I'm like, I don't really like this. Oh, Pinky and the
Yeah.
Brain.
Yeah,
I
that was
know
good.
most of those cartoons.
Wow. We found
Oh,
one
not
for
Pinky and the
Steph.
Brain. No, sorry, not Pinky and the Brain.
I didn't like Pinky and the Brain.
I liked it.
Cow and Chicken. Sorry, Cow
Oh,
and Chicken.
I hated that.
Yeah.
Hated Cow and Chicken.
I hated Cow and Chicken too.
Oh, and I hated Arthur.
Why? It was so wholesome.
Because it was like one of those cartoons that was like, hey, this is the only thing on right now because
Oh.
everything else is off. And I'm like, I don't care about Arthur.
I was a PBS girly as like my like little childhood self, so I ate Arthur up, and same with like Dragon Tales and all that kind of stuff. Out of the box was like the creme de la creme for me at like 5.
This isn't my childhood, but I think by default hate Teen Titans Go also. I've never really watched the show
Right.
before, but I really liked Teen Titans because it was like a more serious cartoon.
So good.
And then
Yeah.
Teen Titans Go, I mean, obviously it's not for me. It's not my generation. Like, I bet, the kids that grew up watching Teen Titans Go probably love it. But I love those more like serious cartoons. I know you're talking about ones we hated, but like Batman Beyond was so good. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, I didn't watch Darkwing Duck in the 90s or
Right.
more obscure ones. I'm like, I really don't want to watch this right now.
Yeah, I would say kind of I agree with you, like the Ren and Stimpy and the Cow Chicken. Like I just did not care for that as a kid. It was just kind of like off-putting as you
Yeah.
know, when you watch it, I'm like, something doesn't feel right. I did not like Angry Beavers either though.
That's okay.
Oh,
I
enjoyed Angry
understand that
Beavers.
one.
I like.
The other one that I kind of didn't like is Ben 10. I could not.
What?
I didn't
You're-
like it.
Dang,
I think you might
Steph's
not be
canceled.
friends with Sam anymore.
Let's get on the hashtag cancel Steph. Get on
Ooh,
Twitter.
Another one that was weird for me too was like Rocco's Modern Life. I didn't like that one
Yeah,
either.
Rocco's was a little weird. I watched it growing up, mostly reruns. Ben 10 is a solid show. Like the idea that like this kid found this watch that can turn him into like at the time 10 different aliens, and then future seasons come and different aliens, and it's super cool. It was such a fun concept.
I get that, but yeah, I don't know. For me, I never cared for it as a kid, so it just I don't know. I just didn't like that one.
Some of the cartoons I were like past when I stopped watching cartoons that like I would see every once in a while. If, like I'm just flipping through channels. It was like My Gym Partner's a Monkey, Camp Lazlo, Johnny Test. Like those are
Wait.
cartoons I didn't quite watch.
Wait, but I like those ones.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. Like I don't know if I have any problems with them because I've never watched them.
Oh, I see.
But
I see.
those are the ones where like I knew people were talking about them,
Yeah.
but never watched them.
That's fair. Yeah, there's a little bit of an age difference. And I always say this, it's crazy how much 3 years when we're talking about this kind of stuff, especially in the early 2000s, makes a difference. Because if we were like growing up in the 80s, we would probably still have the same time reference for all the cartoons we watched.
Yeah, I could see that.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, like a year or two difference makes a lot. Like with
Absolutely.
the cartoons. One cartoon I never really got into that I know a lot of people were into, and it was on all the time, was Samurai Jack. I know it's supposed to be a great cartoon. I've just never sat down and watched it from start to finish.
Me either, but it looks beautiful. So I am always nervous of anyone who says they don't like it.
I've seen bits and pieces of it. I've never sat down to watch the whole thing. Maybe that would be kind of fun to do.
Yeah.
But Larissa, did you have any other like ones that you didn't like? I know you kind of agreed with like, you know, the Ren and Stimpy cow chicken thing.
Yeah, like back to that kind of style. And I think that was like the early 90s. So that would have been like Sam's older brother's like generation of cartoons. It just made me feel, like you said, like uncomfortable. It would like create in me anxiety, which I obviously didn't know that's what it was at that time. Like I'm an adult now trying to figure out what that feeling was. But yeah, it put me like in the spot, and I'd be like, I can't move after watching this. Like, but not in a good way. Like I was scared to move.
Yeah. I will add one more that I just thought of. As a kid, I wouldn't say nowadays, but as a kid, I didn't really like Dexter's Laboratory that much.
Oh, that's hilarious, because my mom would watch cartoons with us, obviously, and she said that was her favorite one to watch down with both of us, was
Really?
Dexter's Laboratory. Yeah, she loved it so much. She thought he was so hilarious, and that his sister, I forget her name right now, but
Dee
Dee Dee.
Dee Dee, yes, she loved Dee Dee too, because she felt like a kindred spirit with her, because she was the younger sister that was kind of annoying and bubbly, and
Yeah, I think the characters annoyed me as a kid.
that's fair.
It's funny you
very
say that,
fair.
Larissa, because growing up, I also had one of those cartoons I would sit down and watch with my mom, and that was Courage the Cowardly Dog, because she always loved horror stuff.
So that was the one I was going to say I don't like. And I was going to say it's controversial, but I absolutely hated Courage the Cowardly Dog. If it was on for more than 2 seconds, I was going to have a nightmare. And so I was like, well, I guess I'm sleeping in this couch now for the rest of the night.
Speaking of Courage the Cowardly Dog, one of the topics I had, just if we needed to guide the conversation, was
Right.
actually most horrifying or like scared you as a kid. And Courage was one for me. I could not watch it a lot because like I would kind of watch it if there was nothing else to watch, but it definitely like made me think and made me kind of terrified as a kid.
Yeah, I had one. It's not necessarily a cartoon, but it's a cartoon movie. It's
Okay.
the one where Scooby-Doo Zombie Island with the cat people.
Oh yeah.
Like that, like transforming into cats. That actually like scared me for like quite a while, like as a kid.
That's fair.
And also, it was like I said, I'm talking either like it was either a movie or like episodes. Like there was an episode of Hey Arnold that like freaked me out as a kid when
Yes.
it was
The
the
Ice
Ghost
Cream
Train
Man?
episode. No, the Ghost Train episode.
Oh, yeah, that one was bad too. I didn't like the Ice Cream Man episode. Yeah, there was definitely some scenes that were like the way it was animated too was like designed to make you feel uncomfortable. It wasn't just like Courage where like the whole premise is like creepy. It was just like, hey, like this is probably like an abusive situation. But like as a young child, you don't understand that, so it's even scarier. Yeah.
See, one that horrified me, now I don't know if this movie series had a cartoon, but I kind of felt like it did. Did the Brave Little Toaster have a cartoon series?
It did, and I watched
it. Might have like really one off
Okay.
something.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know what it is about that movie, but dude, it terrified me as a kid. Where like watching that, I remember so vividly where I was like, I should not have seen this. Like, and
No,
I was
that's fair.
young, and I was like, it was just so unsettling. I don't even know or remember anything about it, but I just have that feeling of anytime I hear Brave Little Toaster, I'm like,
No.
oh no.
There's also a trauma-inducing like clown scene too, I think.
Yeah,
Oh.
so it was just a whole series of just messed up horrifyingness that as a kid I was scarred, and I've never seen it since. I've never touched like looking at it, like nothing.
I must have blocked all the creepy parts out, because when I think about it, all I remember is the like happy-go-lucky toaster like going around and talking to all of his vacuum appliance friends.
Yeah, look at that picture I just posted in the Discord. It's that clown thing I was
Horrifying.
telling you about from Brave Little Toaster. It's
Horrifying.
terrible.
That's really bad.
Also, dear listeners, we will also link, I'll have a link thing I'll make for you so you can kind of see any pictures or things that we may talk about that comes up, so you're not left out. But yeah, no, that's terrifying. Straight up.
I don't know if this is on your topic train stuff, but
Go for it.
One show that really bothered me for a specific reason was American Dragon Jake Long, because I absolutely loved season 1. I thought it was such a cool show, and then season 2 they got a different animator and changed animation styles from like him being this like really cool like buff cool dragon guy with like I don't know, he was just cool, to this like weird lanky like zigzag dragon, and it just ruined the whole show.
Yeah. Now that
I was
you
gonna say, I
mentioned
don't know if you
that.
have another show like that for you guys where like something changed, like animators or like the plot in general, that ruined a whole cartoon show for you guys.
Ooh, that's a good one. Bro, I don't know. Like,
Yeah,
oh,
nothing comes to my mind.
I think, like, I guess the only thing that I could kind of think is that, like, I watched the Digimon series. Like, the characters kind of ruined me watching Digimon and keep, like, continuing to watch it.
Interesting.
Because the characters kind of got annoying for me, at least. So I kind of stopped watching it after that.
That's fair.
I liked the one where the people turned into Digimon, which I found out a lot later that apparently that's like the most hated season. That was like
that was like my favorite season. That was season 3, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, where
really
people
funny.
like they actually like have to turn into the Digimon and transform. Love that. That was so
Yeah, they
magical.
like fused
and cool.
into them. Yeah.
Yeah, it was sick. But after that, it was the one with like Davis, the redhead kid.
Yes.
And then
Yes.
like the girl with the fox Digimon. I hated
Yeah.
that season. Couldn't stand those characters, so it kind of ruined Digimon for me.
That's funny.
Interesting. I was just going to say one more. Fairly Odd Parents, because I grew up watching that too.
Yeah.
But when they introduced the baby or whatever, because that was like right after, I think they did the live action movie with, what's that creepy dude, Drake Bell. And then they were like, hey, we're also going to introduce this baby fairy.
Oof.
Now I'm like, well, I'm done.
Yeah. I definitely, that's probably when I stopped watching it too. That's a good
Same.
one. Yeah.
But when they transitioned in Rugrats to All Grown Up,
Oh,
I
I
actually
loved
really
All Grown
enjoyed
Up.
that.
I
Yeah,
like that too, but I think it was only like one season.
there was.
Yeah, it was only like 1 or 2 seasons.
Because I think
yeah.
it kind of flopped. I don't think people really liked it. But if you watch All Grown Up, I'm sure it's so reflective of the time,
Yeah.
you know? Because they were
Absolutely.
supposed to be teenagers?
No, it was right before.
They were in high school.
They were preteens because there was an episode where Angelica turns 13 and it was a big deal.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Maybe I don't remember that.
That was like so very specific, but yeah.
Yeah, no, that was fun.
It was an interesting time, you know, that like to pursue that. The kind of
All
like
Grown Up
try
had
and break up.
5 seasons, by the way.
And 5?
Really? Wow.
Well, I must have only ever seen one on TV then.
Yeah, that's how I feel too.
I thought that
2003
show
to
flopped.
2008. All the way to
Dang.
2008, yeah.
Never mind then. I guess it did pretty well. I could have sworn it flopped, but maybe
Same.
not. Okay. Wow. All right. So another one I have, just as like a fun little thing to think about, is do you have any childhood cartoons that are the most quotable for you, even to this day?
Oh.
What do you think is one that you could just recite a quote from the show? Or if you had it as a kid that you would always like run around and quote things from?
Well, I'm going to say this, and I have a feeling that's going to be your guys' answer, is SpongeBob SquarePants.
Oh, yeah.
But I actually hated it as a kid.
What?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it must have been because my parents hated it, and they would always talk about how dumb it was, but, like, I still managed to watch all the episodes, but, like, even now to this day, I look back and I'm just like, yeah, that is really cringe.
What the heck?
I know. I was too pompous. I was like too much of a hipster. I was like, everyone likes this, and I'm cool that I don't like it.
So you missed out a little bit.
A little bit, but I still watch them, which is why it doesn't really make sense thinking back to it. Like, I've seen all of the like classic episodes.
Yeah. Okay.
I would probably also say SpongeBob just because like it was like that like show that was super quotable because there's all these like one-off lines. However, a smaller show that I don't think lasted too long was The Marvelous Misadventures of Flapjack.
Yes.
And I know a lot of people hated that show because it was the goofy animation and it was kind of creepy.
hated it.
Well, see, there you go. There's one of the people.
I
But
know. It was. Ugh.
it was super quotable. There's like things I would say to my dad all the time, and we would just like bust out laughing. That and Billy and Mandy.
Yes.
Billy and Mandy had a lot of one-liners that were really good.
I also hated that one.
Oh, I liked that. I liked that one.
Yeah, I kind of.
Oh, go ahead. Oh, you go.
Okay. I
I'll
hated a lot of what was produced on Cartoon Network at the time. Of that, like Invader Zim, Billy and Mandy, Ed, Ed and Eddie. The only show I liked that was on there every once in a while was like Totally Spies and Witch and Winx. Those are the shows I watched. But yeah, I know it makes me like look so cringe that I hated them because you guys like. That's the cartoons of our generation that everyone's obsessed with, and I'm just like,
Okay.
I hated it.
So I was going to say SpongeBob is definitely my number one quoted. My mom at one point was even concerned because we would like be able to almost quote an entire episode. And she's like, but I would quote it with my friends. But you just mentioned Invader Zim and it was just like a key to my brain. And I'm like, dude, I quoted that so much.
Invader
that
Zim.
kid.
Like, I was that kid. Like,
That's funny.
real bad.
Oh man, you're a Hot Topic kid.
Oh, yeah.
I was gonna say it was weird because like you would think I would have liked Invader Zim because I was a Hot Topic girly. Like I loved all that kind of like alternative scene sort of stuff. Just something about it was so off-putting to me that I could not watch it.
The animation was a little rough and darker, so it definitely was a show at the time that definitely could like freak some people out or kiddos. Yeah.
I was just gonna say it's one of those shows where I definitely remember watching, but I don't think I've seen it start to finish. I've seen episodes here and there. It was one of those ones I had a lot of friends who were like really into, and like people in high school, they're like, oh my god, the best cartoon growing up was Invader Zim. I'm like, I remember some episodes, but I wasn't a diehard.
Yeah. I'd say, yeah, SpongeBob and Invader Zim. There was another one I was about to say, and now, shoot. You said you had mentioned Adventures of Billy and Mandy, but there was another one I was like, Chowder. I could quote Chowder.
I hated it.
Chowder was fantastic. I loved
Dude,
Chowder.
I could quote Chowder. Like, I loved that one. Sorry.
Rada,
Can't
rada.
relate.
Yeah. What were you going to say, Larissa?
Oh, I remembered another one that was like one of my absolute favorites, and you can kind of probably understand why I didn't like the ones that were in Cartoon Network. I loved My Life as a Teenage Robot.
Yes.
So good.
Oh my god.
That was a good show.
Amazing.
That was a good one.
The animation was like beautiful, and like I look back at it now, I'm like, wow, a lot of those are like still influencing me as an artist today, and I don't even realize it. Like retrofuturism, it was so good, and like there was a lot of like romance going on, and it was cute, but there was still action. I'm just like, maybe this was my gateway into like liking anime later on in life.
Could be. My gateway, I think, was definitely Pokemon and Digimon.
Right.
Those are my definites. So, because I watched a lot of Pokemon as a kid, for sure.
Makes sense.
Real quick, I forgot to mention one of my favorites, and I don't know who cares about this, but Danny Phantom was like one of my absolute favorite shows of all time. So
it had a good concept. You know, it was different, and it stood out.
Yeah, 14-year-old kid died because of his parents and became half a ghost, half a human, and had magical powers. It was awesome.
I was going to say, what is your most watched, do you think, as a kid? What cartoon or cartoons do you think you spent the most time watching?
Oh, that's a good question, because there's a lot of reruns of different things.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Probably like Shaolin Showdown or Jackie Chan Adventures. If I could get all the DVDs of them or something like that, or like watch them on streaming, I'd probably watch every episode and sit down and binge it, because it was like my absolute favorite. I mean, hours-wise, I probably put the most into something like Danny Phantom or Fairly Odd Parents or SpongeBob. Something that was that lasted longer on like Nickelodeon, but I don't know. That's a good question, Steph.
Mm-hmm. Larissa?
One that I remember that my mom also loved to sit down and watch with us, so I probably watched a lot of this, like in terms of hours, was Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends.
Yeah, that's a
that
good
was
one.
Constantly on my TV.
For me, I think it's with a couple. I think it definitely for sure was going to be SpongeBob,
right.
The 1960s Scooby-Doo. Oh god, there was Pokemon, I would say. I think those are like my top 3 as a kid. I probably watched a lot of those.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, I think we're just about at time. So that was really fun. A little trip down memory lane, if you will. But no, that was really fun to be able to just talk about, our childhood cartoons and kind of, remember different ones, especially if each one of us brought up a different show and we're all kind of like, oh yeah, I don't know. It was a really fun little chat about our shows that we liked or disliked and things like that. But I would also like to thank everybody who has given us 5 stars on Spotify and rated us on Apple Podcasts. I think you can rate. I'm not quite sure how it works. I'm a Spotify girly, so I apologize. And also thank you to anyone who has been liking our YouTube videos. Yeah, you can find us on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. So thank you to everyone who's shown support and listened. We appreciate you all. But that is all for this week. You can still follow us at Shifting Tones Pod on all of our socials. You can follow me specifically, just kidding, just me at Spiffy Steffi. You can find Larissa at larissa.schaefer, and you can find Sam somewhere, I guess. No,
right, he's in the ether.
You can find me at Spiffy Steffi.
Thank you. No, but you can find him at Sir Captain Sam. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we will see you next Thursday. Bye, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
See ya.